think before you snap.
Wake-up call for parents. Do you know what your children are texting these days? All those messages may not be as innocent as you might think.
Tonight, after a spike in sexting cases in North Idaho, Post Falls police are investigating several reports of teens texting naked images of themselves to friends. KXLY4's Tanya Dahl is live at the police department tonight. And Tanya, it's a trend that worries parents and investigators.
Well, most of us have them. Smartphones, you can do just about anything on the internet, including this live shot. Problem is, teens are getting creative, and police worry they're putting themselves in danger.
Once that photo's out there, you really don't know who has it.
The days of note passing at school are over. Teens are now sexting.
Well, we're seeing a lot of students take nude photos of themselves and send it to their friends.
A quick click is all it takes. Teens can instantly send nude images or videos of themselves to friends. It's a growing problem that's recently popped up at Post Falls High School.
Most of the time they're just doing it because they want to show their boyfriend or girlfriend these photos, but really if it gets out of hand, it becomes a very dangerous thing.
Right now, 3 sexting cases are on school resource officer Neil Urig's desk. In one, compromising pictures from a local student showed up in Montana. A few years back, images made their way all the way to Ohio. Kids might think that they're joking around, it's playful, but this is a crime.
It is a pretty serious crime.
Sexting violators can face criminal charges, including possession of child pornography or manufacturing pornography. Knowing that teens are willingly sending private pictures of themselves to others is alarming to many parents.
It's scary. We were kind of talking about it. My kids are little, but I have grown kids too, and cell phones were not what they are today back then.
I think they ought to get the phones out of the schools. They don't need them, and have more control.
It's that watchful eye at school and at home that police hope can keep our kids and their images out of harm's way.
I don't think I'll be going the cell phone route until they're 20.
And it's also worth mentioning that some sexting cases nationally have actually put teen violators' names on sexual offender databases. Reporting live in Post Falls, Tanya Dahl, KXLY4. HD News.
6 Iowa teenagers have been arrested for sexting.
Authorities say the Buchanan County teens aged 14 and 15 spread a sexually explicit photo of a minor by texting it on their cell phones. News Channel 8's Laura Nichols explains why authorities say sexting is a growing problem in Iowa schools and why teens are not aware of the criminal consequences. Laura.
Iowa law prohibits anyone from using a cell phone to send obscene material to a minor, but many minors don't understand that that applies to them too. If they're caught sexting, they can be arrested.
It's called sexting, and law enforcement officials say it's become a major problem in school communities.
Basically, you're talking about sending nude or partially nude images of one minor, usually to another or to someone else, via their cell phone.
Now 6 Northeast Iowa teens were arrested after a 15-year-old girl took an explicit photo of herself and sent it to a friend, who in turn sent the photo to more people.
To them, it's 30 seconds of fun, 30 seconds of bad judgment, without any consideration for what that leads to or could lead to.
Cybercrime investigator Mike Furjak says what teens don't realize is that sexting, according to Iowa law, can be considered spreading child pornography.
What it's become is a major concern for certainly for the criminal justice system.
And studies show teens feel pressure to engage in sexting. 70% of sexting incidents are part of a boy-girl scenario. 51% of girls surveyed say they feel peer pressure from a boyfriend or a male friend. 18% of males say they also feel pressure. But what teens don't always understand is that those pictures can spread to other teens like wildfire.
I think that parents, teachers, community members, everybody needs to be talking about this, because whether you choose to accept the fact or not, it's probably present in your community. And if it is, then some of your kids are at risk.
The teens in this case were all charged with telephone dissemination of obscene material for minors. I talked to Buchanan County Attorney Sean Hardin today. He says he is hopeful everything will be settled in juvenile court services so it won't go to court.
And Laura, while we're at it, what about the girl who sent the explicit photo in the first place? Is she in trouble as well?
Yes, she is one of the 6 teens charged. The law also punishes the person who sent the image, even if it is a picture of themselves.
All right, Laura, thanks.
Police say Kevin DeFrancesco of Greenville sent naked pictures of himself to female students, asking at least one girl to do the same. Their ages? Just 13 and 14 years old.
Kevin DeFrancesco was a popular social studies teacher at Jamestown Middle School, about an hour north of Pittsburgh in Mercer County. The district is pretty small, fewer than 600 students, some 40 teachers and staffers, and that makes these accusations that much more difficult.
If it's proven to be true, what is out there, it's very disappointing, very disheartening.
The 28-year-old teacher is now charged with numerous sex-related crimes after police say he sent inappropriate text messages to 2 female students. A 13-year-old girl came forward and told another teacher she'd been getting lewd text messages from DeFrancesco for the last few months.
At that point in time, we started on an investigation. Once we were able to verify some of the facts, we immediately called the state police.
According to court documents, one example indicates DeFrancesco asked the alleged victim if she wanted to have some fun before bed, suggesting the two could share some dirty pictures. Investigators say when confronted by the superintendent, DeFrancesco admitted sending the texts but tried to claim he was drinking and thought he was sending the messages to someone else. He also reportedly admitted what he did to another teacher, but when asked if it had been a mistake, he got teary-eyed and said it had not been an accident, adding, quote, "I am not wired right." As the investigation continued, troopers discovered another alleged victim, a 14-year-old who complained DeFrancesco wouldn't leave her alone, at one point sending naked photos of himself, asking her to do the same for him. The superintendent says before the accusations, DeFrancesco was said to be a good teacher who was popular with students and staff.
And we're hoping that the actions of this one individual, if they prove to be true, don't reflect negatively on our community or on our students, most importantly.
Kevin DeFrancesco is charged with a host of crimes tonight, including corruption of minors. He's being held on $35,000 bail.
High school students in Franklin County are in some hot water over what they apparently use their cell phones to do.
Thursday afternoon, he come home from the school bus and told me that, he got in some trouble at school.
Tony Altis says he got a phone call from police Monday that they had his 15-year-old son in custody with a list of felony charges against him.
Unlawfully possessed child pornography images again. It's 4 of those charges, the same thing.
Tony's son said a friend sent him naked pictures of a classmate. He then forwarded that text. Police for that tacked on a child pornography distribution charge.
I don't condone kids taking pictures of themselves and sending them to each other, but they're kids.
The Franklin County Commonwealth's attorney says in many juvenile cases, if the children do what the courts order, a majority of the felonies will be thrown out. But until then, police are taking the case seriously.
My son is not allowed to use a cell phone. He's not allowed to use a camera. He's not allowed to use a computer on the internet, and he cannot talk to any of these people that's involved.
But
obviously, there are propriety issues here, but this can have real legal consequences.
Yes, first of all, in some states, children are being criminally prosecuted for essentially sex offender offenses. This is a stigma that can haunt them the rest of their lives if they have to register as a sex offender.
Wow.
Additionally, parents should know that if they're aware that their kids are doing this stuff and they're minors, that there could be a civil lawsuit as well. The recipients, if they're also minors, their parents can sue for damages, and it's a very, very serious issue.
Experience counts. You've handled cases like this.
I have an interesting case where someone who was not a minor took their computer for repair. The repair person unloaded explicit photographs and uploaded them onto the internet. She is now suing him for damages. And again, you have to be careful when you have electronic media, how you control it and what you do with it.
Great.
A very small mistake. turns out to be a big charge.
That big charge, child pornography, a felony. Bryce Dixon also faced a misdemeanor count for stalking after forwarding a nude picture of his girlfriend on his cell phone.
Has really not caught up with technology.
So should there be a federal law against sexting? States have been trying to figure it out on their own. Here in Oklahoma, the juvenile division of the Oklahoma County DA's office tells me there's no specific penalty when it comes to teens sexting. It varies from case to case. Now, across state lines, the penalties run the gamut.
We have Florida, where they've taken an 18-year-old boy to court and charged him with the possession and distribution of child pornography. And then we see states taking the middle road like Ohio and Utah, where they're saying, well, it's not as serious as child pornography, obviously. But on the other hand, we can't just say there's no problem here. Let's call this a misdemeanor.
That's what
Just between you and me, think again. If you send sexual pictures of yourself, it can be spread to everyone in school and forwarded, saved, or posted online. Think twice before you press send.